person I know who can give a real benchmark data of IIB, BC and ISB every year. Every year all of us fight who's A, B, which is better. Where I from BAE, so I am Canada. We always fight. So we in TMI first are very concerned about area of employability. And I think it's a big worry now because the proliferation of MBA colleges, proliferation of engineering campuses, there is no more value attached to the certification. So now we have to ask ourselves, where did the value come from? Earlier, we got into IPE, the IPE certificate had a value because others could not get a certificate. If equivalent to IPE, every institute is giving certification, so then we have to go back and ask, any value of any organization comes from the alumni. So then we have to go back and say, how do we create a value to the students who pass out on IPE? And the best way is to make them outstanding performers on the job. If the students of IPE become very successful in the job, automatically companies come back and then say, I want to hire because this boy is good, this girl is very good. So we want to go back to the institute where they are from. So I think our endeavor, any industry interface has to try and make the students the best. And I think there is no role model, no branding which we can do better than that. Third part of our business, and Raj Ramakrishnan will speak a little more when he talks about e-learning. I think one of our greatest insights has been in the last 5 years trying to understand this concept of learning. Why some people learn, why some people don't learn, how people learn, and what is the role of self-learning versus group learning. For some of these issues, Ramakrishnan is an expert. So we'll also take this help to try to understand the e-learning side. So Sridhar now, he's one of the very close to HR professionals across the country. He knows more HR people than I do. He knows more CEOs than I do. He manages our entire recruiting business of media management. And I said 3,000 managers is not a small one to hire. So in short, I would like to say that TMI Group, we are in 3 businesses: lateral hiring, manager hiring, fresher hiring, and also learning. We are based in Hyderabad, which is an advantage as far as IP is concerned. And therefore I think there is some role we can play. I don't think we are that big to change the fortunes of any institution of IP, but we can definitely add a small to this to try and make it possible. So I'll allow people to have change and then we can specific comments on what can be done in the industry.
Would you like to touch on employability and the TMI first scope? For finance.
Yeah, okay. We have been studying what's the real problem of any graduate or MBA student. Historically, people have said placement is a problem. I don't think placement is a problem. The problem is what you do after getting a job. How many people stay for more than 3 months in the job? Their attrition levels in many of the organizations, MBAs, are somewhere around 50 to 60% in the first 6 months in sales jobs. So then the question is, if employment is not an issue, sustaining the employment is an issue, then what should organizations do? Like you, what should organizations like us do? So we have been working on this model for the last 2 years and we have developed our own model for employability model. Employability means that what are the skills, knowledge and attitudes required to survive the first 180 days of the job. Our focus is not about passing the GD and passing the aptitude test and somehow getting to the job. So we said there are 3 components to employability. First part of employability is that people are on the wrong job, they can never succeed. So people should apply and get the right job. What is the right job means? The individual's personality, the individual's basic capabilities and competence must match with the job. So there is a very strong customization. Every job should be customized to an individual. And therefore, knowing about yourself is the starting point of employability. You should know what you're good at, what you're not good at. In fact, recently Satyam, I met Satyam, some people had told us, Satyam now practices the leadership model of working on strengths rather than overcoming the weakness. What does that mean? It means that if your job is aligned to your strength, you have a very 2 times better chance of succeeding than getting a job where you overcome your weakness and then succeed. So I think aligning your strength and the job is first important thing. Second thing we believe is that people have very limited knowledge of what a job market. Everybody has heard something from economic times, something from the neighbor, something from the previous batch, but there is a limited world. So we believe the second component of employability is knowing the employment world in terms of industries, verticals, jobs, what are the job requirement, job descriptions. And third part is matching your personality to the job. Therefore, shortlisting a list of 5 types of jobs which you should focus on in the campus. It's our belief that if you focus on those 5 jobs, if you prepare, the jobs could be across multiple companies, could be across multiple industries. But if you're able to get focused on those 4 or 5 jobs, then if you're able to get those jobs, the chance of succeeding in the first 100 days is very high. Second aspect is, after you get the job, what are the key skills required for the first 100 days? For example, we believe important things like networking skills, things like problem solving, things like presentation skills. But even though some of them are taught in the campuses, we believe that one has to revisit them and polish them off in relevant to a concrete context. So we said we put all this together. We might try to develop this program, which will be available in the market very soon. It will be about 60 hours to 100 hours program, and it will cover knowing yourself, knowing the job market, knowing about the intermediaries in job market like consultant jobs, so that you can search for a job yourself. Then trying to understand the key skills which will give us a head start in 180 days. So this is a new employability model. Nobody has attempted it before. Or that's the worst mistake you can do. Because his dream is willing to put a lot of energy behind the dream, and his dream is not your dream. And if you put your energy behind his dream, you're not going to succeed. And once you start failing once or twice, it becomes a cascade of liability. So in the campus also we have a role. We are trying to go to the campuses and also value their expectations. Everybody has expectations that are unrealistic in terms of job. You go to ask industry, they say the same thing what they told me in 81. 81 days when I went to IIM and passed out, they said what all MBAs think they already now in a room, you don't get a secretary, now you get a corner office. This is what happened in 25 years. But still the same perception to make to moderate the students in the process of that's what it is.
But we'll come back on this because the first phase, Ramurao is a learned man, with great experience. He was the president of NIPM AP chapter. He had worked in in very many domains, and so he is a person who possibly can give some ideas in terms of how he interface. And from the faculty side, possibly Professor Saikuma, Professor Trivikuram, and Nandita, I leave it to you so that you can also come in. If we can spend the next 20 minutes on that subject with Prasad, Prasad, there are 2 Prasads here, and see that they will also be contributing. I think then we can come to some conclusions, though we cannot come to all the conclusions in one day. But one point before Ramurao takes up, it should be your dream and not yaping others' dream. That is what Murali was putting into you. And about 2 years back, as a chief for catalytic software, 25 project managers, we were taking them through a training program. We asked them, if today there is a rebirth, will you come back to software and project management, and what will be your choice? Believe me, all the 25 said, we will never be again in this industry, nor as project managers. Then I asked them, what is it you will do? 90% people said we will go to NGOs, social service, and something that gives us kick of life.
I bring up to all of you. This is from 2-3 years since I come to IB. Many of you are known to, you know each other. Nice to see you again. A few quick thoughts before we go to others because we have a little time. Only has said a few things. Not repeat what he said. But I was just wondering when we are talking about industry interface, the question that comes to mind is whose need is this? Basically, whose need is this? Is this industry need or the academics need? Need of the academic, yes, academic. It's basically the need of both of us. We also have this crunch. We also face this crunch. We also, in doctorates, when we talk about talent, we go to the audience every 3 months, every 2 months, and actually takes a into the room. It's also when we go to the institutions, we also see institutions also going to this audience. Now, where is this heading actually is? Intentions are there. We need to make it, but we don't seem to be coming together. And I remember about 3 years back when Professor Harigopal was heading this institution, and I was also again a part of this committee. At that time, he mentioned that we wanted the teaching people, the academicians from institutions, visiting our company, participating in some of the programs, participating in some of the training programs, interacting with our employees, talking to them, and being very practical at the ground. Maybe even developing some of our internal trainers, because the portion that you people have is teaching and training. That's where you come from. So even imparting that, and not only imparting training, but also developing a good bit of rapport between the industry guys over there and also the people from institutions. I think that can be one of the major ways of building rapport, through which one can get to know each other through these people. That's one thing. And then, secondly, we don't not about the PR angle, minus the PR angle, the issue of having some fora like this, where the industry guys come across, participate in some of the brainstorming or any of the conferences or any of these symposia, paper presentations, and things like that, which keep happening in the scientific domain. Scientists Mr. Prasad will agree with me. But it doesn't seem to be happening in the area of management. Very few papers get presented, we don't see many things happening. Other than in the professional bodies like ISTD, which just is happening today, yesterday and today is happening in Chennai. Or NIPM, we used to do that, and at the national level we keep doing it. But the industry and the academic institutions don't seem to be doing it together. I think that can be a great area to do it together, especially in a city like Hyderabad, with a lot of work that's to be done. So these are quick thoughts. I can just share them with you, and then what we say. Thank you.
I'll go to
today to get performance right at the induction of an employee. Earlier it used to be like, you are there, you had the luxury of being 3 months induction, then you go on 1 year kind of training and 1 year probation before you are called as a performing employee. Now the expectation is that you start performing within a few months of your induction onto any of the organizations. So, and that's where the entire concept of somebody getting 2 years of experience or 3 years of experience after the undergraduation before he gets onto a professional course. So how the business schools or any professional schools which are trying to groom are going to have a major portion of the training or exposure to the industry in terms of every quarter block placements, which I did a couple of block placements in Procter & Gamble, something in Procter & Reeves, and so on and so forth. Every quarter that used to be a very, very regular interface, you go and then see what exactly happens. Before I even worked in ITC for my summers, it is exactly the hands-on world of HR. Even the first year of your MBA is a general course where you are actually at the threshold of choosing what you want to do in life, whether marketing or HR actually. I got into a contradiction, like I used to have a flair for marketing and also HR, and when it came to choosing one, I fortunately had RC around me because he was my project guide, and then the finer aspects of my passion and aptitude he had differentiated so fine that today I enjoy what I do in HR. I never regretted that, because I am not good at finance or operations or systems, I went for HR because I always have the aptitude and which I realized that it is my passion once I entered into the work world. Otherwise I never knew. It was an interest in informative years. Therefore that's very, very important. And second thing is, people only teach what is a Maslow theory or what is a McGregor's theory without really telling how industry works on that. And therefore we keep on talking about various reviews of Harvard Business and keep celebrating. What Harvard only does is give you a real life experience, give you case studies, and how do you apply all these theory into practice in solving cases and in a very, very risk-free kind of environment. You are not going to play with the organizational resources or the people, but theoretically you are simulating certain things. I am sure that these are all part of ingrained into the teaching methodology. But the thing is how frequently we are using and how strongly we are leveraging these techniques of training in terms of getting the students to be hands-on to the realities of the organization. And that is one more thing. And second thing is, again I'll also take a few examples of Bombay Business Schools. The faculty, 80% of them are from the industry. I think you don't have core faculty more than 20% of the people who have done specialized kind of research in their respective areas, but they are very strongly complemented by 80% of the faculty from the industry. So every manager used to come and share their real life experience, and most of the theoretical work is given to us that we go to library and then we study on our own, but what we get inside the classrooms is basically the essence which is encapsulated in terms of a senior manager coming and sharing certain live situations, how we had handled, whether it is in HR, brand management or marketing or an issue in project management, so on and so forth. So what happens in 2 years of time is that you will get very strong exposure, and though from a distance, when you are in classroom, you are actually getting a condensed version of the experience of the managers rather than pouring into the books and Philip Kotler's. How many years you spend getting this kind of experience? Because each one of these guys having 15, 20 years, 25 years experience, they are coming and effortlessly giving you that essence. So that makes you more industry ready and more industry acceptable when you enter into the industry. So these are a few very, very important ingredients which gets into making a typical management trainee to be work ready. So of course I think Murli had fantastically touched base with his incisive clarity on the subject, therefore I would not like to repeat. But this is what is the grooming which gets ingrained. And some of the B schools are still focused on year-end examinations and then how well you do in your 10 papers and then only one exam per year and then you are done with it and you get an MBA and you get a shock of your world once you get into the organizations. I think it's very, very important that you keep on interacting with the industry while you study in the classroom. I think it shouldn't make a difference whether you are inside the classroom or outside the classroom. So I think these are very live and experiential things. I don't relate from anything from theory. And therefore the kind of empathy you generate, what is an organizational space, how does it work? As Murli is rightly saying that if you ask for a management training, what is your ambition? He says, I want to become managing director. Right? So the MT and MD are, there is huge space in between, and the reality is that one should have the self-perception whether he has the long-term potential, but what is the path? That path is very long, and what are the stages involved in getting from a MT stage to managing director. So those kind of a mentoring should happen within the institute to make the students' aspirations realistic, so that why aspirations should be realistic? Because they should not get frustrated and they should not get a culture shock and they should not get demotivated and they should get continued vigor and passion with the kind of work they wanted to do. Therefore, they will say that I can also take the same decision because I have read BCG model. Okay, theoretically you can solve a case, but as a managing director, can you take the implications of a multi-billion-dollar company? Can you live with the implications? People implications, financial implications, operational implications. So the difference between a guy who is studying MBBS, right, a part of it he will study surgery, that I want to take a knife and then do incision somewhere, so many inches, and he knows the technology theoretically, but it takes the expertise of a surgeon actually to perform it. Therefore the capability to perform makes you a managing director, and the theoretical knowledge will make you on the threshold of a management training. And therefore the spectrum which is involved between a management trainee and a managing director is huge. And the professors and the faculty and also the managers from the industry has to elucidate that this is what is involved here. Therefore, the kind of the risk you want to take with an experienced guy really taking decisions and living with it at a senior management stage is enormous when compared to an MT's excitement to solve a case. And therefore, there is a huge gap. So bridging of that actually, is through a journey of learning these competencies and picking them and going on from there.
I'll just add one more thing to what you said. That's it. Why and how? There's already theoretical background has been done. So unfortunately, MBA education has become so far away from the reality, and they've been giving more conceptual. If you ask any student a very practical question, will give you conceptual because of this gap.
All right, we have to manage the time, lest time should manage us. I think if you take the quintessence of the type of issues that were raised, appears to be reduce the gap between knowledge and the theory to action learning and your ability to be there on the spot from day one how to be a contributing member, and reduce the expectation gap between what you have to what your employer seeks to have. To move further, I would like to give an opportunity from the teaching side to Professor Sai Kumar, starting with, I know, Dr. you are very keen.
I just wanted to reflect on what
Yeah. I'm just looking in that sequence between you, Professor Sai Kumar, and Trivikram or Professor Srinivas Murthy. With three of you, if you also respond, then we get to know some perspective on this subject, and we'll use the time effectively. Okay.
Yeah, thank you. Starting to interacting with the HR and the line managers, be it what call L&T or Nestle, what call Sundaram, Fasteners or something like that. Most of them, what they say is that this present what call summer internship program is insufficient. Now, minimum, the students take about 6 months time or so on the job to learn, before even they start contributing. And after that, they hardly have about 150 days to stay on the job or something like that. So in between, they need to invest quite a lot of money. Because Professor Mishra, keeps on telling us, in Tamil Nadu and probably we have not experienced.